Welcome to my video. I am glad that you are interested in learning about the Thai educational system. In this video, I'll be using the term banking education and rote learning interchangeably. I will also use the term problem-posing education and inquiry-based learning interchangeably. Let us first explore the educational problems that Thai society encounters. Most schools operate on banking education or rote learning. Thai students would listen to the teacher's lectures during in-class sessions without actively engaging with their superiors or their peers. This situation can be attributed to Thai culture and religion. Since childhood, we find ourselves navigating in a hierarchical society where extreme deference to authority and elders are ingrained in our young minds. In addition, Buddhism is our main religion. Buddhists have a strong inherent belief that knowledge grows with age, position, and status. The influence of a hierarchical society and Buddhist belief results in an authoritarian culture. In a classroom setting, the students would assume that the teachers have the greatest amount of knowledge and are always right. Therefore, students do not question the teacher since this action would go against the norm of respecting adults. As a result, rote learning becomes the preferred method for Thai educational system. Now I will propose an alternative to rote learning. Thai educational system will better equip its graduates with skills for today's competitive world if schools were to adopt a problem-posing or inquiry-based learning. This method gives students the autonomy of finding answers to the designated problems by themselves, where they can occasionally seek help from the teachers if needed. In his book, The Children's Machine, Seymour Papert explains why problem posing is better than banking education. He uses the analogy of a fish, where the animal represents knowledge and the process of acquiring it. Papert argues that the traditional method codifies what the students need to know and feeds them the fish, while constructionism is built on the assumption that students learn most effectively if they do the fishing themselves. In short, knowledge is not transmitted from one person to another as a finished product. Rather, each individual constructs and acquires knowledge bit by bit through engaging in personally meaningful experiences and interacting with other people. Additionally, I think it might be beneficial for the Thai educational system to follow the 4 Cs, which stand for communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical reflection. In fact, problem-posing education can open the doors to many learning opportunities for both the students and their teachers. An in-class example would be when teachers find a variety of historical sources and learn about all of the possible stances on the topic. Similarly, students get the opportunity to practice their critical skills when they compare and contrast conflicting perspectives. Instead of studying solely from Thai documents, both the students and teachers would acquire more knowledge if they become aware of how foreigners perceive the same event. Another example of problem-posing education is when students learn through immersing themselves in real-world situations. In rural Thailand, there was an active learning project where the students could occupy themselves in the process of local farming by applying their ecology knowledge from in-class sessions. Students could practice their communication skills by talking to the locals about agricultural practices. They then collaborate with each other to create insect zoos and employ scientific methods such as forming hypotheses, collecting data, and interpreting the results. It is also important for them to exercise their creativity in solving unexpected problems that might arise. Finally, these students would engage in self-reflection activities through the weekly shows and shares. By creating summative project reports and identifying the lessons that might be relevant to their life in the future. In order to transform the current banking education to the ideal problem-posing education, Thailand must undergo several stages of educational reforms. In the last section of this video, I would like to make some suggestions about the steps that Thailand could take to improve the educational system. Firstly, we can start with a bottom-up change. This step involves giving more power to the principals to make decisions so they can impose changes on the institution without solely relying on the Ministry of Education for approval. Once the principal received this power, they could give the teachers more flexibility with their schedules. The teacher could take advantage of this freedom by adding hands-on activity in their lesson plans, devoting some time to listen to students' feedback, and sustaining the program in a rapidly changing educational context. If we accomplish the first step, then we could scale up the implementation by starting pilot programs. As more institutions become interested in inquiry-based learning, there could be a network of schools that meet annually to evaluate the pilot programs. At this stage, outside-in change can occur. These steps will involve the Thai Education Foundation, known simply as the TEF, to step in to provide technical and moral support to the schools that participate in the pilot programs. TEF then helps with proposal writing workshops for teachers, assess the program implementations, and publish data on the program success. Moreover, TEF has the capability to enact a top-down change. The organization can let the Ministry of Education and UNDP know about problem-posing education projects to gain access to national fundings, which are needed for some ideas to come to fruition. Besides these possible steps, we can also change the criteria for salary or promotion incentive to focus on classroom teaching performances rather than the personal disciplines of teachers. Finally, I strongly believe that a complete turnover of Thai leadership is required to create a significant change to the current educational system of rote learning. I propose that we should decentralize decision-making to not be limited to only the government. Currently, thousands of students are protesting for a better educational system, and I really hope that something comes out of this advocacy. Thank you so much for watching this video until the end, and I hope that you learned something about the banking education issue in Thailand and why problem-posing education is necessary for the future generation.